Hello guys, welcome to this webinar conducted by WWICS. Myself Deepak Noria. I'm working as Vice President Sales, looking after sales of entire group of WWICS. And today's seminar we are going to discuss and talk about Canadian permanent residency options. And I will make you aware of all the available options, all the different programs through which you can apply and probably get permanent residency to Canada. I will take up your question answers as well once my presentation is done. So be ready with your questions. And in case you want to communicate to us in writing, you can put it in writing also through this question panel. You can see there is a panel of questions and you can simply type your questions and we will try to provide you the best answers of those. I'm just playing a small corporate presentation, a corporate video, which will give you a more insight about our organization, about the things we are into and what kind of services we provide to our staff. So please pay attention to this small video, maybe of 5 or 7 minutes, and then we can start with the presentation. Thank you for being us. Again to today's webinar. Myself Deepak Noria. I am working as Vice President in WWICS Group, looking after sales and marketing. My team, my panelists are today here with me. Mr. Bharat is there working as Assistant General Manager AGM for entire Delhi region. He will be interacting with you, and other team members are there. You can put in your questions. There is a panel wherein you can type your questions, and my team at the back end will try to provide you all the answers. I will also take up these questions one by one at the end of my talk, and you can also ask me questions if the time permits us. So before moving on to the presentation, on your mobile screen, I have shared a handbill. It's called handout. On the top right corner, you can see a square, a folded square. You can click on that, and from there you can download it. From laptop also you can download it. It's a handout, small PDF of 3 pages, wherein we have given you the entire summary of the programs that we are going to discuss with you today, and along with the contact information of Mr. Bharat Lal Chaudhary in Delhi and the branches in Delhi with addresses and their telephone numbers. We have 4 branches in GK, in Rajouri Garden, in Noida, and in Gurgaon. So you will find all the addresses and mobile numbers of the branch heads in that PDF handout. So please don't forget to download it. It will be really beneficial for you to take a further call. Thanks a lot. So let's begin. About WWICS, you have already seen that we are into this field from past 2.5 decades, more than that, 27 years of establishment. And as of now, we are a multinational company having its offices in India as well as overseas. The company is incorporated by our CMD, Lieutenant Colonel B.S. Sandhu. You can see on your screens, this is the man behind this entire setup. He's our chairman and managing director of the group, and is not limited just to immigration only. They have their roots in various other domains, which includes placement and settlement options, education domain, hospitality, real estate, and diagnostic centers as well. We have a track record of 300,000 happy settled family members in Australia, in Canada, in various parts of the world, and with a vast network of 18 offices in India. In overseas also, including Canada, including UAE and Australia, we have 13 offices. This is the world's largest resettlement group, providing services of immigration to the people, those who wants to settle their permanently in overseas in the country of their choice along with their family members. Basically, there are three pathways, three routes through which one can migrate and one can move to the overseas country. I'll just try and explain one by one. Just pay attention on the slide. Right in front of you, you can see the arrow. First category is for professional skilled workers. These are the people, those who have completed their education and they are working in their related field. A related field means if you are a doctor, you are done with your MBBS or MD, and you are practicing as a doctor. Likewise, for a teacher, accountant, engineer, those who have done their with their education and they're working in the relevant field are called skilled professional. This is the easiest route I can say. Most of the people adopt this pathway to settle in the country of their choice. So today we are going to discuss this pathway in detail. Second pathway you can see on your screen is for business people. These are for entrepreneurs who are self-employed, not employed with anyone else, or even if employed, they are at the senior most position like CEO or director of a group, having all the decision making powers with them. So those kind of individuals can also, by way of investment in overseas countries, they can also get permanent residency or work permit or long-term residency and even citizenship in some cases directly. So this is the second category we specializes in, and third category is for students. Students, those who are seeking overseas education in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, many countries of the world offers education to the students, and this is the the fastest means. Probably in 2 to 3 months time student can get a visa and can start with their studies after 10th, after 10 plus 2 or graduation and post graduation also. Student can move to overseas land for higher education, followed by a work permit and followed by permanent residency, which of course is depends upon the country of your choice, depends upon the university and course of your choice. But Canada, Australia, they are very friendly for students, and this is one of the prominent pathways through which people are moving to these countries. So these are the basic three segments through which people move to countries overseas. Apart from this, we specializes in pre-landing and post-landing services. WWICS provides you complete resettlement. It is not just limited to immigration. It includes pre-landing services, post-landing services, temporary resident visa. Normally, people call it visitor visa or TRV. We specialize in that also. Family class cases, for your spousal cases, for your children cases, if you want to sponsor them, or your children want to sponsor their parents, we specialize in those cases also. Appeals and judicial reviews, in case you have got a rejection, you want to go in for appeal. We are ICCRC members. We have our directors on panel. Both are directors of WWICS, Mr. Davinder and Mr. Parvinder. They are IRCC members. Apart from that, we have a panel, a lobby of lawyers, immigration consultants, attorneys, barristers, and paralegal staff who advises and keep a constant watch on each and every case preparation, right from filing till the time we get the end result. Okay, let's move further. Coming straightway to Canada, this is the land which attracts most of the immigrants, and people are, aspiring to move to this beautiful country because of the economic, social, infrastructure, medical facilities that you all know. I'm not going to discuss that in detail. I'll be discussing more about the programs. This is a geographical map of Canada, comprises of 10 provinces and 3 territories. Each province, each territory, that means 13 states of Canada, they have 5 to 7 programs each. That means there are around more than 75 to 80 pathways through which one can apply and can be settled in one of these states or a territory. But how to choose, what is the eligibility criteria, and whether these programs are good, whether these states are good or not. So that is why you need to hire an immigration consultant who can advises you, not just based on what are you looking at, but based on your credits like your education, your age, your experience, your language proficiency, your interest levels, your family compositions, if you have a blood relative out there in Canada. So there are several factors to determine whether you qualify for a particular country, for a particular program, for a particular state or not. And WWICS specializes in all these things, primarily what we call is technical evaluation. I'm again skipping this slide. These are just the statistical figures, which I hope you all are aware that why people are choosing Canada. Canada, even in this COVID-19 situation, this pandemic that world is facing, Canada is emerging out as the one of the most preferred destination for immigrants. Even people, those who have migrated or students settled in Canada, they are studying in Canada, they are, advocating that this is the best country to come. Based on there are so many good things that has emerged out in the past 2 months. Government has given such a good financial support to all its immigrants, to its students, that people feel more secure than staying there rather than coming to back to their home country. Although they have option, they can travel back to their home countries, but students prefer to stay back. Even immigrants prefer to stay back. Even those people who are on visitor visa, they prefer to stay back in Canada because they feel more safe, they feel more secure, and government takes care of them, due to which this pandemic is almost over. People are back to their normal life, offices are reopening, and things are getting normal with every passing day. So government has also announced a liberalized requirement of the coming year 2020, 21 and 22. Although they have expressed their requirements for these years, which you can see on the slide, 2018 to 21, but for the next year also 22, they have given their requirements, which is far exceeding than the previous years. So coming to the programs, let's begin. Express entry is the best and the fastest pathway. Everyone is talking about express entry. You see thousands of videos, you see thousands of advertisement nowadays. Okay, everyone who is aspiring for Canada, look, I have an express entry profile, and my consultant says that you will be in Canada in 6 months' time. It's not like that. Express entry is one of the most transparent procedures for getting into permanent residency for Canada. But we need to understand what express entry means. Express entry is a way through which one can express his or her interest that they want to get permanent residency of Canada. It is not any kind of application or any kind of visa filing process. No way. It is just an expression of interest that based on my credits, based on my points, I think I am eligible, and please allow me to file my case. Something in the simplest language. So the step one is creating your profile, means sharing your information, sharing your details, your age, education, experience. Two prime things are required while creation of your profile. One is your ECA, that is Education Credential Assessment, and second is your IELTS. Let's talk more about this. What is ECA and what is IELTS? ECA, we have obtained, if you have obtained education outside Canada, from India, from Pakistan, from anywhere in the world, even from US, it is required to be recognized by Canadian education system. The process is called ECA. They have enlisted 7 authorities that can determine your level of foreign education in comparison to Canadian standard. It can be equivalent to masters, it can be equivalent to bachelor's or a diploma or a certificate. You will be intimated formally against some charges, which starts from 214 Canadian dollars for WES, World Education Services, which is the most prominent authority to decide your education credentials. So it is one of the 7. There are other authorities as well. So this ECA is mandatory even to create a profile. If you don't have an ECA report, you cannot even create a profile. Second is IELTS, International English Language Testing System. Most of you are aware of that. It's a mandatory requirement of every applicant. Okay, but most of the people are not aware, and they constantly ask, what is my IELTS requirement? I have done with 6 bands or 7 bands or 8 bands. It is a point-based calculation. I'll come to that part later on, but it can be determined easily, and we can give you the exact requirement of IELTS for profile creation for IT. There would be 2 stages requirement of IELTS. Okay. The alternate to IELTS can be self-pep. This is also recognized by Government of Canada. So you can opt for that. It's a computer-based test. Although IELTS has also started computer-based test, and this option is available nowadays in all the metropolitan cities across India. So you require only these two test results. One is IELTS and second is your ECA. Other things, you don't require a documentary evidence, but you can create your profile, and your profile will be judged based on these 3 programs. One is Federal Skilled Worker, second is Federal Skilled Trade Program, third is Canadian Experience Class. You must be eligible in one of these programs, then only your profile will be accepted. Otherwise, your profile can straight away be rejected. So most of the people will qualify or aspire to qualify under this prime program, which is called Federal Skilled Worker Program. You can see the highlighter on your screen, Federal Skilled Worker Program, which is a 67 points requirement. If you're making the eligibility score of 67, your profile will be accepted. Acceptance of profile means your application will be moved into the express entry pool here. What is this pool? This pool is a group of most eligible applicants across the globe who stands best chances to get permanent residency in Canada. Till now, you have not filed your case, right? Once you are into pool, once your profile is accepted and you enter into express entry pool, CRS, comprehensive ranking system, will be applicable to each and every profile. Based on 1200 points, you'll be ranked, and it will be communicated by CIC through email in the profile you have created. And you can see what is your global ranking. It can be 200, it can be 400, it can be 800, depending upon the score. We will cover this later. Under the step 2, every 15 days or twice or thrice a month, CIC conducts draw, not a lucky draw, but a very calculative way of inviting potential applicants from the pool of express entry. Okay, they determine one level of CRS, and if you are meeting that level of if your score is above that level, then you will be granted ITA. This is a formal invitation. Once you get ITA, means invitation to apply. If you get an ITA, this is a formal declaration by CIC that you are eligible, you are selected, and now you can file your case. If you don't get an ITA, your profile will remain active for 12 months time. After 12 months, you have to recreate your profile. Not automatically, it has to be done manually. Okay, so it can remain alive only for 12 months without ITA. Once you get ITA, you get a time frame of 90 days within which you are required to file a formal application. This is called case filing stage. You have to submit all the documentary evidence. Previously, you claimed points for while creating a profile. Now the documentary evidence is required to be submitted along with IELTS details and other settlement funds and all. So once the case is filed, you are required to pay the high commission charges, followed by your medicals and your visa. Processing time after ITA can be determined, right? After ITA, processing time as of now is 8 to 10 months. It has increased a bit. Otherwise, in the beginning of 2019, even the processing time was around 5 months, right? So this is how the application moves on. But if vaguely it is said that okay, under express entry, how much time it will take to get permanent residency, it cannot be determined because it solely depends upon your CRS. If your score is above cutoff level, still it can be determined. But if your score is less than that, then you need some alternate options that we are going to discuss in the further slide. Okay, let's move further. There are few important highlights that you should be aware of, that there is no occupation demand list particular, right? I have done this, my occupation is a doctor or engineer or something, specialization in computer graphics or animation. Everybody is eligible. If you are working as a professional, if you are working as a manager, or at least at a supervisory level, you are eligible irrespective of your occupation, right? So express entry is a more wider program. Even if your education is not very much inclined to your opted occupation, even then there is a chance you can still apply for permanent residency. Minimum requirement is 1 year experience in the past 10 years. This is first requirement. Second requirement is minimum CLB level 7. That means 6 bands in each. This is the minimum benchmark. Okay. But doesn't mean that with 6 bands in each you will get ITA. Right? If you cannot score 6 bands in each, then express entry cannot be your way for federal worker program. There are alternates to that. Okay. IELTS and ECA are mandatory. Comprehensive ranking system. I've told you it's a point-based system of 1200 points. 600 points are reserved for provincial nominations. Every province has one dedicated program for express entry. Means if you get a nomination from that program which is aligned with federal express entry, then 600 points will be additionally added to your existing profile of express entry. You can just see here additional 600 points right there on your screen, right? And here also, if you are single, then 600 points additionally will be added. Now how it is done? All right, every province has a program which is aligned with federal express entry system, right? And they have their separate eligibility requirements. If you meet them and you can apply, you will be granted a nomination. Nomination means a selection certificate by the provincial authorities, PNP. Okay, this PNP will be attached to your existing express entry profile. Even if your score is 100, let's say 150, 200, normally, just 4 to 5% of the profiles created in express entry. Please understand this. I am giving you a very daring statement. You will not find anywhere else. Only 4 to 5% created profiles are eligible to get ITA. Right? Remaining 95% means their score is probably less than 400. How are they getting invitation? They also get invitation. They also get invite. But how? It is through provincial nominee program. If your score is 200, let's say with additional 600, you will get 800 points. Whenever the draw occurs for provincial nominations, you will be invited for this CIC to apply for permanent residency. This is how it works. Okay, coming to remaining 600 points, it will be calculated based on 24 factors, combination of several things: your age, your education, your experience, your language proficiency with your work experience, your education proficiency with your language, like this. There are 24 different parameters. So many mobile applications are available, online tool calculator is available, but 99% people calculations are wrong. It requires a detailed understanding, can be done by a lawyer, by a specialist, or the person who is trained for this. And at WWICS, we have a team dedicatedly assigned for undertaking this task for you for calculation of your points before signing up of any case. So be assured, we will communicate to you that how much you are scoring, what are your chances of getting invitation independently under federal skilled worker program, or even if you require a provincial nominee program, then which program you will be eligible, which province is favorable for you. At WWICS, we assess you formally and convey to you as well. Okay, let's move further. Latest updates, there is no latest update apart from government has announced not even a single case should be rejected because of non-fulfillment of requirements of documentation, because sometimes documentation requirement is time bound. Most of the time it is, even medicals also. If you are unable to get the medicals cleared because of this lockdown situation, if the embassy is not working or the doctor is not available, or you are finding any documentation difficult to procure from some other state, from some employer, then none of the case can be rejected. Government will ensure that you will get sufficient time to submit your requirement. This has been declared by the immigration minister very recent. Canada has again locked down its border for another month, in just in line with the Americans. Because of this pandemic, they have already controlled, but they don't want to, allow its spread again. So they are taking care of their immigrants. They are taking care of their cases. They are even processing the cases. They are accepting applications. They are issuing medicals. They are even granting visas. But again with the advisory note that please do not travel to Canada for another 2 months time. This is a temporary phase. Just 2 months your plans can be delayed, right? It cannot be delayed permanently. Canada is a land of immigrants. Canadian population comprises of 80% people attaining the age of retirement. The older population is there in majority in Canada. They require immigration. Immigrants are their need. They cannot afford to run this society. They cannot afford to think of any kind of progression ahead without immigrants. So whatever comes your way, it can be delayed probably by a month or two. It cannot be permanently closed at all. So be assured that immigration to Canada is open and is progressing very good direction. How WWICS helps its immigrants, I have already told you, by conducting webinars, seminars. Nowadays, people cannot, walk into our offices. So the entire team of 700 professionals are working from home, like me, and we are imparting information to all the people who are, seeking information from us. As well as we are providing video conferencing, video counseling to the applicants, those who wants to acquire a deep understanding of any program before retention process. So we are working closely for case filing, for processing, for upgradation. Everything is going on from even from the past 2 months. Not even a single day the office or the process remains closed. So that is why we are here today conducting this webinar to interact with you, and you can also take the decision, timely call for further, plan of action. The foremost aspect is determining your eligibility, whether you are eligible to apply or not. This is called technical assessment. Today, I'm giving you an offer that, of course, immigration process, the charges are quite high. Fee varies between 75,000 rupees to 1,50,000 rupees, depending upon the program, depending upon the, size of the family, depending upon provincial nominee or the federal programs, Canada or Australia. So it varies between 75,000 rupees to 1,50,000 rupees plus GST. But you can get your technical assessment. WWICS offers this service in this current situation of COVID-19 at 50% of the cost. We charge normally 6,000 rupees for getting a technical evaluation. Just for the webinar participants and registrants, we are offering you one-time relaxation discount of 50%. So that means by paying 3,000 rupees only plus taxes, you can get your technical evaluation from the experts. Within 3 days time, you will get a report in your hand stating whether you are eligible or not, and if yes, through which program, how are you making the points, and what is the process for your case filing and further applications. So take advantage of this. WWICS has its team dedicatedly assigned for undertaking your technical evaluation. You are only required to pay this charge of 3,000 rupees and share your resume with us, and rest we will take the responsibility for undertaking this technical assessment. The express entry draws that has been undertaken recently, this is not an updated one, past March, April, this is May going on. Immigration CIC has not conducted any draw for federal skill work. They have conducted all the draws for either Canadian experience class or provincial nominee programs associated with federal express entry. So they are conducting draws. There are regular draws, rather more number of draws in the past 2 months than ever, and the number of invitations granted is also increased. We are expecting draw for federal skilled worker in the coming months. I'm just skipping the information which is not relevant because I want to take question answers with you so that you can be benefited also if you have a specific query. Let's take on to the programs one by one. I'm not going to discuss all the programs, but the major which are mostly in demand, mostly people apply through these programs only. The first is federal skilled worker. We have discussed that in detail. 67 points is the program eligibility out of possible 100, which depends upon your age, education, experience, language proficiency, your spouse communication skills, and your blood relative if residing in Canada. ECA is mandatory. These are the authorities through which you can get your ECA done. It is closed as of now, we are aware, but it is likely to open very soon. Government has given indication. Even visa officers, high commission consulates, they are already open in Canada and they are working and processing all the applications. WES is pending. Even IELTS registrations has started. You can enroll for IELTS examination and can book your seat for that. Just WES or ECA is pending. That is also likely to be announced very soon, that how it's going to be processed. All right, minimum CLB level 7 is required. IELTS for spouse can give you additional points if your spouse can clear IELTS with CLB level 4. So this is the points, how it is calculated. We will guide you if you're eligible in this program, that what is your IELTS requirement. Okay, there are two requirements of IELTS. One is the program eligibility for making 67 points, but it has nothing to do with your ITA. You will not get ITA even if you score 67 points. Second requirement can be higher. If you want to get invitation to apply to, you have to fulfill that benchmark of 470 or above. For that, there would be a separate requirement of IELTS. It will be communicated to you while the technical assessment, and it cannot be generic. It is not that everybody requires 9 CLB, nothing like that. You may be qualifying, you may be scoring good points even with CLB level 7. So it depends upon your education, your age, your language proficiency, your spouse, your blood relative, if there is anyone residing in Canada. So there are several factors to decide whether you require higher IELTS or lower also. Proof of funds, it depends upon the size of the family. If you're single, your requirement of funds is lower, but if you're married, of course, you require to show higher funds. It is at the time of ITA, not at the time of creating a profile. Coming next is trades program. This is for trades people like electrician, plumber, mechanics, supervisors also. No point system is required. IELTS requirement is very, very relaxed. No formal education like degrees or diplomas. Even if you have done certificate from Polytechnic or NCVT or ITA, even for 6 months or a year, it is good enough to go, right? So, but a job offer from a Canadian employer is mandatory. Minimum 2 years experience in the past 5 years is important. That is the eligibility factor. You must meet that. IELTS requirement is very relaxed, but a job offer from a Canadian employer is a limitation to this program. And getting a job offer is not that easy. But if you can manage getting a job offer from a Canadian employer as a trade people, then yes, is very good program and you can easily get invitation to apply. Canadian Experience Class is another federal category program through which one can get invitation and can settle in Canada. What is it? Those who are living in Canada, either working on a work permit or after completion of their education, on an open work permit, if you acquire 1 year of experience of working in Canada, inside Canada, then probably you can be eligible under Canadian Experience Class. It is not open for international or foreign workers. Those workers who have experience of working inside Canada can be eligible. So this is another limitation of this program. Now let's talk about provincial nominee program that most of you want to know more, because 95% applications are processed with the help of PNPs. Every province I've told you, be it Alberta, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, British Columbia, New Brunswick, they have at least one program dedicatedly attached with Federal Express Entry. Okay, if you fulfill the program eligibility, if you file the case that particular province based on their criteria and you manage to get a nomination, 600 points will be added. Okay, every province has a different eligibility criteria. right? You cannot approach Alberta, you cannot approach Ontario. Alberta and Ontario approaches you. Okay, you have created a profile, even if whatever your score is, 350, 400, 2 points, Ontario will approaches you depending upon which occupations, which professions they need in their province. Okay, they will invite you to file a formal application. You cannot file otherwise, right? Likewise, Alberta, they also invites you. You will get a formal invitation from government of Alberta stating that you are selected. Please proceed for a formal application, right? So, but there are provinces like Prince Edward Island, like Saskatchewan, like Manitoba or British Columbia or Nova Scotia, where you are required to create a profile. You can again just create a profile. Okay, once your profile is accepted, you will get another invitation from the provincial authorities to file a formal application. Upon acceptance of formal application, your case will be processed and the nomination will be granted, which will be attached to your existing express entry profile, whereby you will be granted additional 600 points. This is how this entire provincial nominee programs process works. We at WWICS assess each and every program you can be eligible, and from time to time the requirements eligibility criteria also changes, and we update all the applicants, all the clients in the form of timely newsletters or SMS that this is the new opening, this is a new change, and accordingly reassess your profile to see whether you are making the eligibility score in any province, any PNP program. If yes, we will file your case accordingly in that particular province. Parallelly, you can file in one or more programs. Even for provincial nominee programs, you can file simultaneously with 2 or 3 or 5 programs wherever you are eligible, and wherever you get a invitation or a formal acceptance, you can lodge your case formally in one particular province. You cannot formally place your applications in more than one. You can create profile in several, but a formal application can be done in only one province. So this is the important, very important factor to consider and taken into mind. Coming to, yeah, okay. Let's say you are not, your score is limited and you're not able to clear IELTS with CLB level 7 even, which is mandatory for federal skilled worker. So what is the option? The option is Saskatchewan's Occupation in Demand. This is a program which has its own point system. You are required to meet minimum 60 points. And if you're meeting the 60 points requirement, this is first eligibility. Second eligibility is your occupation should not be falling in the excluded list of occupations. They have listed 129 occupations which are excluded. They cannot apply. Otherwise, all the remaining occupations can apply. They have not list occupations in demand, but excluded list of occupations they have published, and your occupation should not be in that particular list. You are making 60 points, you can create a profile. Okay, creation of a profile means your details can be shared with the provincial authorities. And if your score, as of now, it is 68, those who are making 68 points, they are invited formally. Once you get an invitation, you can file a formal application followed by nomination. After this nomination, you can file straight away for permanent residency. No express entry profile creation, no IT, and nothing is required. So this is called Occupations in Demand program for Saskatchewan. Provincial nominee program with job offer. This is also very, very popular, very, very important. We cannot ignore this, although getting a job offer is a very tough proposition because job offer requires so many formal things that is to be undertaken by a Canadian employer in the form of LMI, in the form of advertisement and all. But the relaxation is, there is a program by the name Atlantic Immigrant Pilot Program, AIPP. Although it's a 3-year-old program, started in the year 2018 January as a pilot run by these 4 maritime provinces called New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland and Labrador. If a designated employer from these provinces offers you a job, offers job to a foreign national worker or a person who is working in Canada, so it is open to foreign national worker as well, like you and me. Okay, a designated employer from these provinces. The list of designated employer is published on the website of these PNPs. provincial nominee programs, and everyone can access to that, whether this employer through which you get a job offer is listed designated employer or not. Okay, once the job offer is granted, then employer has to file for the endorsement. Upon getting endorsement, you can file for permanent residency straight away. The processing time is around 6 to 8 months. Just 6 to 8 months time, your family can get permanent residence in that particular province under AIPP. IELTS requirement is just CLB level 4, right? And ECA is mandatory. That means minimum 12 years of education you must have. It's not like all kind of occupations, all kind of professionals can apply. This program has limitation. They require majorly 3 occupations. Primarily, you can say first is long haul truck drivers. It's acute shortage over there. Second is nursing aides, right? Nursing positions, not a registered nurse, not a licensed practical nurse, but it's a lower position, nursing aid, just to take care of old age patients or children. This is the second occupation which is highly in demand. And the third is hospitality industry. A restaurant manager, a cook, chef, supervisor in a restaurant. This is the hot selling program. And if you have an international exposure, if you have a good experience backed by formal education, then AIPP is the best program. But the limitation is getting a job offer from the employer. We have some kind of associations with the employers as well as recruitment consultants, and from time to time we have these kinds of job offers, and if you're matching with the profile of the employer, then you'll be interviewed followed by the entire process. So we undertake this program as well. Coming quickly, Manitoba. Okay, just a small introduction. Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, the limitation, the deciding factor is, apart from the point system, you must meet 60 points. That's okay, but you must have an affidavit of support. What is that? Affidavit of support is not a job offer. It's not a financial undertaking from anybody. If you have a relative, if you have a distant relative or a friend residing in Manitoba as a citizen or as a permanent resident, willing to offer you this affidavit of support, that he and his family is going to help till the time you are established in Manitoba. That's it, right? So this is a formal undertaking that they are known to you and they want to help you or your settlement in Manitoba. So this is the limitation. If you have such kind of affidavit of support, then we can probably file your case. Manitoba has its own expression of interest process. They have their own invitation rounds based on 1,000 points. Okay, they undertake their own ITA, and they have 2 different programs. One is linked with express entry, another program it is not linked with express entry. If you get a nomination through one program, you get 600 points, and through other you will straight away get permanent residence. So we undertake this category also. Quebec. Quebec is a French speaking province. Majority of the population speaks French in Quebec. It's again point system, Quebec skilled worker program. It is. If you're single, minimum 50 you need to score out of possible 99, and if you're married, then 59 points is a must out of possible 116. It's a very comprehensive occupations in demand, but the limitation is again French language. No job offer is required, no relative sponsorship or affidavit or support kind of thing is required. The only requirement is French speaking language skills. You'll be tested upon that, just like IELTS or CELPIP. You are required to appear for a test in French language, which can be either DELF or TEF or TCF or likewise. And there are 6 levels of French language, from A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. A1 is the basic beginner level. C2 is the highest proficiency in the language. So this is the 6 levels, 6 ladders, 6 steps on the ladders of this test: A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. Okay. For claiming points in this French test under this Quebec category program, federal skilled worker, you must establish your proficiency in French language up to B2 level minimum. Right? If you clear with A1 level, you cannot be eligible. If you clear with A2 level, you cannot be eligible. Even if you clear with B1 level, you cannot be eligible. B2 means advanced intermediary level proficiency in French is mandatory. So this is the limitation. But if you can manage doing this, this could be a very good program, a very good process to undertake and get permanent residence. When we talk about provincial nominee programs, the only difference between federal and provincial nominee programs is under provincial nominee program, you have to live and settle in that particular province through which your application is being processed for at least 2 years before moving out to any other province. This is the only limitation. Otherwise, you will get permanent residency, you will get citizenship, you will get all the social benefits, economic benefits, infrastructure, medical, everything is similar. Thus, just the limitation is in that particular province you have to be there. Otherwise, under federal, there is no limitation. You can go to BC, you can go to Alberta, you can go to Saskatchewan, you can live anywhere, you can do whatever you want to do. There is no limitation under federal programs category, except for Quebec. You cannot land in Quebec if you have not opted for the Quebec worker program, skilled worker program. Just one program more that will bring me end to my presentation. The Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot, RNIP. Just like AIPP, this is a pilot program started in January 2020. Government has listed 11 communities. Communities means municipal corporation having lower population in comparison to bigger cities or towns. Lower population ranges between 75,000 people to 250,000 people. With the some kind of extremities in climate, maybe too cold, maybe not access to all kind of modern infrastructure and all, right? But they require manpower, right? And most of the immigrants, those who are landing in Canada, they tend to settle in Toronto or in Vancouver. So most of these communities or other provinces also, they are not getting adequate share of immigrant. That is why the employers over there, the industries over there, they are dying because of lack of immigrants. That is why government has opened this new pilot program, which is very relaxed eligibility requirements, through which one can gain access to permanent residency in Canada. Only requirement is you have to live in that community for at least 2 years before moving to any other part. Okay, how it works? There are 11 listed communities. 5 are from Ontario, which includes North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, Swansea, Murray, and Thunder Bay. These are the 5 communities in Ontario. 2 in Manitoba, Brandon and Altona. 1 in Saskatchewan, Moose Jaw. Alberta has a community called Charles Home, and British Columbia has 2 communities, Vernon and West Kootenay. Out of these 11, 6 are open. They have already opened 6 communities. They are started accepting the applications and processing and so on. How this program works, it has a federal requirement, it has a community requirement. You need to fulfill both. The first step is fulfill the federal requirement. Now, what is the federal requirement? Federal requirement means, number 1, you must have a recommendation from the designated community. That means community must have chosen you. How the community will choose you, I will tell you. The first requirement is you should be selected by the designated communities, number 1. Number 2 is at least 1 year of experience you must have in the past 3 years. That means 1560 hours of work with 1 employer, with 2 employers, with 3 employers, but continuous 1 year experience should be there. There should not be any break, even for a day. That is the second federal requirement. Third is you should have a genuine job offer from the community. That community employer should give you a genuine job offer, full-time job offer, not a seasonal one. Okay. Fourth requirement is ECA. You should be having an ECA, right? That means 12 years of education is the minimum requirement. If you're having education less than 12 years, your ECA cannot be undertaken, right? Fifth requirement is IELTS. IELTS depends upon your occupation level. If your occupation level is O level and A level, that means you are a professional or a manager, then you should be appearing for IELTS. You should clear it with CLB level 6. Very easy to clear, very easy, very comfortably you can do. It is less than 6 bands. And if your occupation level is B, then you should be appearing and clearing IELTS with CLB level 5. Again, very simple. And for the occupations, lower level occupations, C and D, The requirement is CLB level 4. So relaxed IELTS requirement, relaxed work experience, no point system at federal level, right? So once you fulfill these federal requirements, you are required to fulfill the community requirement. Communities also listed their individual requirements. Some communities has a point system, others don't have, right? They have their own established criteria to select the applicant. We will assess, will guide you how you are making the eligibility score for federal or for these communities. So if you are fulfilling these two-step requirement, federal and community requirement, then your profile will be created on the communities portal. After creating the profile, you will be having access to the available jobs in that particular community. All the employers of the communities, approved employers of the communities, have listed their requirements in terms of NOC, in terms of experience. So if your occupation matches to the employer's requirement, you can apply to that job in the community itself, in the community portal itself. Right from India, we will be doing this all on your behalf. Once the job application is done, the employer will have access to your profile, and if it is matching to his or her requirement, they will call you. You will be interviewed by the community employer over Skype or video conferencing, and upon selection, they will issue a job offer. This is how you will get a job offer, followed by the recommendation of the employer to the community for selection, and the community, designated community, will endorse the application, followed by the process of permanent residence. I'm not saying it's a 100% sure shot process, but it is comparatively easier from federal, from provincial nominee programs. New programs, so that is why government has given more leverage to the applicants to apply and get selected and move to such community. We are giving a composite program where we apply for 5 different communities at one point of time. So your chances of being selected at any community increases. No one can give you assurance that you'll be selected in a particular community. The more applications, the more you can create a profile, it is better for you. We also undertake work permits. I will not talk more about this, but yes, we do have recruitment requirements from Canadian employers, and we fulfill their this human resource requirement from India, from UAE, from time to time. So these job offer comes under different categories, like nurses, like cooks and chefs, restaurant managers, apart from some supervisors and some program developers also. So WWICS helps you to gain temporary residency visa application for work permit if you are not eligible in any of the given programs that leads to permanent residence. That's all for now about Canada, and it's already 5 o'clock. We can start with the question answers. Still, if you have any doubt in your mind, you can please clarify it before logging out. I am available. Mr. Bharat is also available. You can share your queries. You can ask me directly, or you can put it in writing in the question panel, and we will pick up your questions and try to answer one by one. One thing more before I sign out, I have shared a handbill. Again, some of you might have joined later. So there is a handbill option in your screen, handbill. So please download it. It's a 3-page handbill, and very crucial information it is having, important information that will help you to take a further decision about the program, about WWICS. You can reach out to the respective branch managers and can communicate further with them. So let's start with the questions. Who is coming right away? Let me stop this presentation first. Okay. You can raise your hand, I can see, and then we will open your mic and we can have a small conversation. You can just raise your hand. Mr. Amit Raj Gusai, I can see. Amitji, I am opening your mic. Here it goes. My team, Tahseen, please open Amit Raj mic. Tahseen and Sunny, please take care of the people, those who have raised their hands. Let's start asking their question, and we can address their concerns as well. Tehseen? Yes, Mr. Amjad Khan, your mic is open.
Yeah. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I want to know about PR through or passport through investment. You did not discuss about it.
Yes, yes. That is a totally different category. Getting citizenship directly by way of investment. We have a specialized team undertaking this particular pathway. So please
Okay.
share your details with me. My colleague, Mr. Amit Khanna, will get in touch with you. He will explain, because this requires a complete understanding upon what kind of business you are into, what kind of investment you are looking at, and which country
Okay.
are you choosing to, opt for. We will provide you the complete
No, I'm
consultancy
talking
service.
about Canada only. I'm talking about Canada only.
Yes, yes,
Right,
we do
right
provide
now,
for
right
Canada
now,
and for.
yeah. I'm in Saudi Arabia since last 18 years. I'm
Not an
into.
issue, but this is not the right platform to discuss.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
just limiting our talk to the skilled
Okay.
professionals only today.
No problem. No
Okay.
problem.
Just drop in
Thank
your
you.
number. We'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, who's coming next? Mr. Rajesh Anand, can you please open his mic? Mr. Rajesh Anand. Sunny, are you there?
Yeah, hi, sir. I'm there, sir.
Can you please read out the questions, whatever they have communicated so far, and why we are not able to open the mics?
I think Tahsin would be able to do it, sir. But I'll read out the question in meanwhile, sir. Tahsin, I
Yes.
request you to take care of these in meanwhile. I have a first question from Mr. Gurpreet Singh. He's saying, I am of 43 and a postgraduate with 20 years of experience in graphic design. What are the possibilities for me?
Again, before answering this, see, evaluation or assessment, whether you are eligible to apply for a particular program or not, before deciding this, we need a lot of details in terms of your education. You are a graduate. No, it's not enough. From where you have done your graduation, in which field, from which university, and what percentage of marks did you obtain? That also matters. For you, for your spouse. Okay, age is the very important factor to decide. Ideal age group is 25 to 32. Okay, with every passing year you loses points for your age. It doesn't mean that at 40 years or plus 40 years you cannot apply for permanent residency, but you will have to score a lot on other factors like IELTS, or preferably if you have a blood relative. Otherwise you will not be able to score those points under federal skilled workers, and will be confined to only either Saskatchewan or this RNIP category programs. But for Canada there is no limitation of age, right? And one can apply till the person is eligible for any program. Let's move further, Sunny.
Thank you, sir. The second question we have, that is from Mr. Gaurav Anand. He's saying, I am 28-year-old working as a HR professional, having 2 years of experience, want to know about work permit.
Work permit, yes, we undertake that. I have already told you, but under this HR category in the recruitment stream, getting a job offer is not easy. We are getting job offers, but majorly in hospitality and medical sectors. Right, getting it in this human resource, it's not very easy. And as of now, we don't have any employer who is offering such positions through work permit. Let's move further, Sunny.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Mr. Ravinder Paul Singh want to know what is the current fee for skilled immigration?
I've already told you the range is between 75,000 rupees to 1,50,000 rupees. But in this circumstances of lockdown and all services, we have given a very reduced package, even on installments, that will be conveyed by the branches to you. But yes, it is 50% reduction on the standard charges we are offering for this limited time.
Okay, thank you, sir. Another question is from Miss Nancy. She want to know, can we apply for multiple provinces under PNP program?
Yes, I have already covered that. You can apply for multiple provinces. You can create a profile in various provinces. But once you get a formal invitation, your formal application can be filed only in one particular province. Creating a profile is not a problem at all.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. We have a few more questions, but the relevant one is, let me ask you this. I'm already enrolled with WWICS. My file is under process for SINP. Can I look forward for Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program?
Again, I have told you it has a limitation of only 3 categories. One is long haul truck drivers, nursing aid, and hospitality, like restaurant manager, supervisor, cook, or chef. If your occupation falls in one of these, probably yes, you can.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's all we have received so far.
That's great, guys. Thanks a lot, Bharat. Bharat, please open your mic. Bharat.
हाँ जी sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please communicate to all of them. You can guide them for the branches, for the staff whom they can interact, and how we are going to, manage calling them or, taking this further.
Yes,
Mr.
we
Bharat
have a
Mr. Bharat is heading Delhi zone. He is working as assistant general manager, having a rich experience in immigration industry. So over to you, Bharat.
We have 4 branches in Delhi NCR. Mr. Bidhan Chandra is contact person in Rajouri Garden, Savaz in Noida, Akhilesh in Gurgaon, and GK is Manvendra. If you face any problem, you can call me at any time. My mobile number is 9212 624662.
Bharat, open your camera also so that people can see you.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Sir, do in RNIP, this is Provincial Nominee Program, the scores required are less than the regular express entry?
Okay. This is a relevant thing, but I think I have covered that. First thing is, RNIP is not a provincial nominee program. It's a community program. Second thing is, points it is not linked with express entry. So the federal requirement does not have any point system. Only the community requirement has this point system requirement, and that too not all. Only out of 6, there are 2 or 3 communities having a point system in their selection process.
Okay. So before filing the application, so we should have a job offer also and a recognition by the community also. These are the 2 pre-requirements.
No. Filing of application, the understanding is a bit different. The system is, you have to create a profile in the community. Community profile creation. You are expressing your interest. I want to be in this community. Once you create a profile, you can please mute your mic. Please mute it. Okay. So you have to create a profile in the community portal. Once you create a profile, you will have access to the available positions in that particular community, and you can apply for jobs to those to those open positions. Subject to you being selected by the employer after the interview, okay, the employer will offer you a job and will apply for the community endorsement, community selection. This is how it works. It is not that beforehand, before creating a profile, you will have a job offer. It's not like that. I hope it's clear now. All right, guys. Anything else, Sunny? If we are left with any other question, we can take that. Otherwise, Mr. Bharat's number, Mr. Bidhan's number, Akhilesh, Shahbaz, numbers and emails are already there in the handbill that I have circulated, and it is there in the panel. You can also watch this entire video probably after 3 hours. It will be available. You can review it, and you can take a call. The special offer is limited for 72 hours only. You can take a special advantage of getting 50% discount on technical assessment. Otherwise, the standard fee is 6,000 rupees, but under this webinar registered category, we are offering it in 3,000 rupees. You can take advantage of that and get yourself assessed to determine your eligibility for Canada. Thank you very much for participating and attending this webinar. You can reach us at the given numbers in the handbill. Otherwise, my sales team will be calling you and will be interacting you all further for taking the right call. Thank you very much and have a great evening.